Good evening, everybody. We might have some folks join us in a little bit, but in the meantime, we'll get started. And I am making this a recording so that it can be available afterwards. I will have a short period at the end for questions if people would like, or you're welcome to send me an email with specific things. I will also have some resources to share of some kind of key pieces and some additional information that I think might be helpful for folks, including resources and all kinds of goodies. So welcome tonight to Screens, Dopamine, and Our Brains. And I am Angela Taylor, the neurocomplex therapist, and it is my pleasure to talk about something that is definitely affecting my own family and all those that I really care about. And I also have some sticky stuff going on for me with screens. So I'm excited to share some things that might be helpful for you and your family. A land acknowledgement as we get started. We are committed to truth and reconciliation, decolonizing of systems, compassionate, responsive, and inclusive care. And we acknowledge that we are gathered on Treaty 1 territory, the ancestral land of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Anishinaabe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. We acknowledge that our water is sourced from beautiful Shoal Lake 40 First Nation and Treaty 3 territory. So a gentle reminder to be sound aware, so having your phones and different things muted, pretty please. I will provide some selective self-disclosure, so I'll be sharing specific things that I have found to really help for those that I care about in my own family and those folks in community that I have the pleasure of knowing, and sharing some stories. I find those stick a little better than talking about stats. I will be including some visuals because visuals are part of how I learn and how many of us learn. And in this one, you can take breaks at any time. The recording will be available after. Please move as you need, fidget, color, do as your body requests. The recording is available after, and I'm very grateful to have you here. So why are we here? Well, how about screens are made to be addictive? I feel like that is a good place to start. Especially for those of us who are so fortunate to be neurodivergent. So those of us who have maybe, an ADHD neurotype, an autistic neurotype, or just a sensitive brain in general, we can be a little bit stickier on screens. This is not about guilt or blame. This is about understanding our brains. So just wrapping all of you up with compassion and care and understanding. If this is something you experience, you are not the only one. There's a reason why so many people are bringing it forward. So it is not a you problem at all. So together we're going to explore what it feels like when screens take over. And I feel like a few of us have some ideas about that and the real why it happens. It's not about us being a failure or failing in any way. Brains are just doing what brains do and what we can do to find balance again. And then again and again and again, because it's going to be a lifelong journey because screens are here. I'm on one right now. For those of you who don't know me, I tried to be normal once and it was the worst 2 minutes of my life. I am recently diagnosed as ADHD, autistic and ADHD neurotype, but I have been this way for always. And in my family, we celebrate lots of neurodivergence. We've got lots of autism. We've got lots of the sensitivities, and we got a good sense of humor about some of the challenges that come with that. But we sure enjoy and embrace all the good. I am now in a season of life where I can fully embrace all of my neurodivergence, and one of my passions in life is being able to share that with educators and parents and families, children, and all kinds of beautiful people doing their very best to learn about how to be inclusive and celebrate the diversity in community. So that's the work that I do now is national, international work. You can find me in all the places. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, saying neurodivergent. When I talk about neurodiversity, it's the natural difference of human brains. Think about all those different wiring systems. So there is neural majority, which is 80%. So folks who have more of a typical wiring, and that's there's all kinds of really delicious definitions I could give you, but that's a TED Talk for another day. And then there's neurominority, which is, about 20%. And that includes ADHD and autism, FASD, complex PTSD, Down syndrome, all kinds of really beautiful ways of being. Um, Neurodiverse is a group of people. Neurodivergent is I am a neurodivergent woman. Neurocomplex is the connection between my neurodivergence, but what is my lived experience, which is very much dependent on my environment. So my symptoms will actually go up or down depending on kind of who's around, right? And so we do notice that, how do these kids do all day without screens, but then they get home and they're on it all the time? Are you on your phone all day at work? But man, do we crave it at the end of the day. And neurospicy is a casual term used by those to describe being neurodivergent, and it can be, spice of life. It can be really delicious and, really positive. Or, I feel really spicy about going to Costco on a Saturday morning. So I like to talk about the window of tolerance because that's one of the biggest reasons why we're grasping and grabbing for screens. And other than, of course, they were made to be most tantalizing and delicious. So whatever your optimal zone is, whether it's a really wide optimal zone and you can tolerate most things and you're ready for learning most of the time and it's feeling really good, or perhaps you have a narrow window. For the autistic neurotype, one of my favorite neurotypes is a narrow window or more narrow. And that means that like that low and slow and just needing to block out a lot of the stimulus of the world. Whereas the ADHD part of our brains, if you do have an ADHD, for example, like me, the ADHD is like all the dopamine, all the reward chemical, all the new novelty, 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 right? It's just, that's often why those YouTube shorts or Facebook shorts are feeling like I can't get enough, right? Some of the research suggests that that is like kind of has the least amount of positive effects. It's the worst for us. That's what I'm trying to say. It's short videos. There's really not a lot of value or learning from them, and the brain is getting quicker and quicker. So our brain is amazing. It's learning every day, forever, and it's really made to be adaptive. So our brains aren't made for joy; they're made to survive. And they're trying to find a way to survive all the time. And so things that we have control over, things that kind of give us easy dopamine, our brains are going to want to go to. It's the path of least resistance. I can work for my dopamine or I can get it super easy, right? So when we think about, optimal zone, let's say you wake up in the morning and you're not a morning person and you're like, ugh, gross morning. You might be in hypo arousal. It almost like feels like ugh, low. I'm moving like a turtle. So I can put on music, I can have a latte, I can, make myself a deadline. I can do all these things to kind of get myself moving. But what do I grab? My phone. It's the easiest way. I don't have to work for it. It just goes right there. Now, what happens when we're, feeling a little bit, oh no, overwhelmed? I'm in hyper arousal now. I'm feeling stressed and activated. I might get ready to fight. I might want to run away. That fight or flight response is very strong. That's our survival, kicks in. Now, what do we grab? Something for distraction. Our phones, right? So, with so much coming at us with different stress and more pressure and, living in a world not made for us, for example, doesn't it make perfect sense? It does. So here's some other ways of kind of managing our window of tolerance and our optimal zone. And having a rich buffet of all the things that really serve however we're wired, however we are. So notice that if you wake up and you're ugh, or you're feeling ugh, you need at least 5 minutes of things to kind of spark up some energy. And if you go into fight or flight, you need at least 20 minutes for your brain to come back online and lower your arousal. And we all get spicy. We all get a little extra. Those of us who are already super extra, extra like me, we just get there a little quicker and it takes us longer to come down. If you don't know bilateral stimulation music, I highly recommend it. It's available everywhere, YouTube Music or whatever. So bilateral means it's going back and forth, getting a little louder here and a little louder here. And the frequency is soothing the neural pathways. So that can help me when I'm starting to get stressed and I need to come on down and soothe the storm of emotions in my body, which everybody has, so that I'm not only going for my phone to be potentially scrolling or doom scrolling, which is, maybe not one of the healthiest choices, for a different, healthier choice, which is listening to music and maybe doing something else or walking or moving, right? They have special ones for sleep, ones for focus. My favorite is for stress and anxiety for no reason at all. Not that I have any of that. So be curious. I also really love this zones of regulation, which models and mirrors what people do at the school. Now think about yourself even in this moment. Are you tired? The answer is yes. I know. Transitioning for weather is a tricky one, and our bodies are using up a lot of energy just adjusting. So that makes sense. So if you're tired, you're in the blue. But Angela, I'm also in the green. I'm ready to learn. I'm here. I'm taking the information in. Fantastic. You're also in the green. But Angela, I'm also a little worried because I haven't been able to find success with my kids or even with myself. That we have a very sticky brain and, we're all using screens maybe more than we should. And I'm feeling really worried. I'm feeling maybe some shame. I hear you. I understand. I might even be mad at myself for not following through sometimes. I understand. The reality is that, especially being a more sensitive person, we can have a very complex relationship with our emotions. And so it's not surprising that we would look to something that feels good to help us feel better in the moment. Or that when things are just really overstimulating, we would reach for that. I love this meme so much, like so deeply. I don't even know where I found it a long time ago online. Hold on, partner, I am overstimulated. This is me at Costco. If you ever see me there, just understand it's not personal. I'm just trying to regulate. And someone probably touched me with their cart when I wasn't expecting it. And so I'm just like that's me at Costco. It's really important. Every time I teach, every time I connect with community, I say like there's nobody who's crushing it every single day. We can look online and see a lot of shiny people doing a lot of shiny things. And it can look like, oh, I haven't let my kids use screens for the last 3 years or something, right? Do you do you know for sure? We don't know for sure. And right now the world is saturated with gaming and TV and all the things, okay? The reality is that technology is here, but we can shift to understand it and use it as a tool and recalibrate and shift back to more balance at any time, all of the time. And that you and I are not the only ones that are facing this, that we are facing it together. We can have realistic expectations of ourselves and of others and even of our kids. Ooh, and know that what we are capable of will change from day to day, week to week, and moment to moment. And that you got this. Here's an honest question. Some days is it easier to put the phone away? Yes. Some days is it really hard? Yes. And there are a lot of good reasons for that. One thing that can protect us from shame is by kindly saying to ourselves, of course. Ironically, that also prevents burnout. Of course it does. Of course. Of course I feel this way. Of course this is hard for me. Of course. I am doing my best always with what I've got. And sometimes my capacity is high and sometimes it's very, very low. No matter how shiny anyone looks, please know that that is true. I work with some very fancy people and everybody looks really shiny from the outside. Okay, so some practical support. The grounding message is your brain is always trying to adapt. Yes, even grabbing a phone. It's trying so hard. So every scroll, every click, every swipe is your brain's way of saying, I'm looking for something stimulating, connecting, or calm. I am seeking. Help me. I'm seeking, and I need help. So we can look to those needs with compassion. If I have them and you have them, and actually we all have them, well, I can't really hate on myself. And I can't really be mad with my kids, to be honest. I feel like I probably have a worse sticky part of my brain, like I struggle more maybe than they do. Ironically, it's in the family, what feels tough is when my brain will be like, oh, I gotta stop this. And then I've just decided for everyone that everyone needs to stop, even though they're kind of in the middle of their track of I'm here and I want to get to the end. This is really good. This is really good. This is really good. Ah, chop. Stop, everybody. Which also, in terms of, you know, neurodiversity, a lot of brains don't like being told what to do. Do you like being told what to do? If I said, you should do this right now, it wouldn't matter what I said. You'd be like, no, you're not the boss of me, and I'm not. I actually have no control over what anyone else does ever. Shoot, neither do you. That's a bummer. Yeah, we have some control over our kids and their wellness and their safety, of course, but we are guiding and inviting. And that is a new part of parenting that I did not see coming. When I was growing up, it certainly wasn't like that. But we're here now. And that's probably one of the trickiest parts of parenting right now, especially in this digital age, is the way that we were parented isn't, it wasn't the best. They were doing their best, but we are learning as we are unlearning at the same time. So I always say if it feels hard, it's because it is. And this is hard. So how can we shift towards compassion for inside us, for towards our kids and our colleagues or our friends or our mother-in-law, perhaps? Reflect. So I call this the Taylor model. It's RAR because I think that's hilarious. And I just imagine a T-Rex every time. What's your favorite dinosaur? So reflect. What's really happening for me and for them? So if I want my son to stop using screens, or worse, he's using two screens at once, oh no, yes, it happens. What's really happening for me? I'm activated. I'm feeling maybe unreasonable or like fight. Okay. What's happening for him? He's trying to have his needs met. And this is the easiest way. All of our brains try to find the easiest way. Align is I'm aligning with myself. I'm coming back to a calm place, a regulated place, because if I'm feeling regulated, then I have all of my brain working at once. If I'm feeling activated, my emotions are running the show. And when I say regulated, I mean we're all just like a body of storming emotions. Like it's amazing that we're regulated ever. It's a miracle. I've learned only in the last couple of years being so neurodivergent, so spicy, My emotions are communication. So if I'm feeling shame, if I'm feeling angry, if I'm feeling panic, that's really communication. That's me communicating with me. It's not scary. It's not imminent death. So the alignment is what's happening for me. I'm feeling panicked. I'm feeling scared that my son has been watching too much television and that I'm hurting him. I don't want to hurt my children. My children are my life. They're everything to me. So that is what's causing my body to react. So I can realign by saying, of course you want to protect your son. Of course you're scared. Technology is a world that we are figuring out as we go. And there isn't perfect answers. They're saying don't use it more than 20 minutes a day or an hour a day, or it's changing. And we got some people who say just do whatever. It's okay not to have all the answers, and it makes sense why you're feeling scared. And restore is what can we do about it together? I know that in my family, if I go to my kids and say, this is what's happening, they're gonna try to steal those iPads. I'm sorry. Probably shouldn't be saying that to you, but they will. If I just say, no, you listen to me and that's the way it is. But if I sit down and say, what's happening for you? And what can we do about it together? And I'm going to do it too. They will tell me. And if we do that, I can go back and say, remember that you said that? You had said 2 hours a day? But I gave it to you. That's what you said. That's going to be more successful in my family. They're still going to fight me though, a little bit, tiny bit. I mean, they are children. Because this is kind of how it feels. And maybe that's a little excessive. But I mean, how many screens do you have in your house? And now I could go on a tangent and say, like, TVs have maintained the same cost over like dozens and dozens of years, while housing prices and even food prices are going up astronomically. And maybe that's why we go to phones and iPads and TVs. Just saying. But maybe everybody needs an escape from some of the hard things in life because life is really tricky and hard. Maybe. So, what it feels like, especially if you have a sticky brain like me, I can't stop scrolling even if I want to. Angela, you shouldn't be doing this. Angela, you know that short videos are the worst. Angela, are you doom scrolling again? Oh my goodness. I feel anxious. This is my body, and I'm just trying to get through this feeling in my body. I'm more distracted, tired, and irritable because I've used that to calm myself and regulate versus the other things that I know that I need, like hydration. The brain is trying to find a way to regulate in all of that. So, what is this dopamine reward loop? So, screens create what's called a dopamine loop because they provide fast, unpredictable rewards that light up the reward part of the brain. Now, ADHD, for example, and autism as well, they don't make and process dopamine the same way as typical brains. Okay, because we're cooler. But that means that we need dopamine or the reward chemical, right? We need to make that in our life. And so it's the reward. And then, oh, that's it. Now I'm craving it. I want it. I'm thinking about it. Now I get it again. Ah, reward. Now think about Timu. I can't even say it without going, ooh. Now, a lot of these places they have studied, right? They're successful billion-dollar companies because they have studied how to crack into this dopamine loop. And even though you're clicking to get something out of the way, you're still touching it. It's, I want it gone, click it, it's gone, reward. So they've kind of hacked into what is going to be the most successful to make you sticky. And how I manage by using grayscale or even taking off the app of my phone um, might not work for you, but it might. So why are our brains more sensitive? The neurodivergent, let's say autistic, ADHD, ADHD. Okay, those are the primary ones that I end up getting to love and support. So ADHD craves novelty, movement, and fast feedback because an ADHD neurotype is wiring very fast, the fastest. That's what makes it ADHD. So if this is majority of people, and this is ADHD, this is autism because they have up to 10 times more neural pathways and less gray matter, and they're actually processing 10 times more information at the same second. So, predictability, sensory control, safe social connection. Did you just say gaming online? Exactly. Exactly. Trauma and anxiety uses screens as comfort, escape, and regulation. It's very successful. It's always there. You've got 100% control over it. It's a strategy. It's a tool. And that meme is just too good. When your screen time report says you've used your phone 10% less last week, averaging only 12 hours a day. All right. So when we use screens, our brains release dopamine for pleasure and adrenaline for alertness. It feels amazing, alive, energized, focused. When overstimulate, the brain compensates with a crash. Okay, this looks like irritability, fatigue, zoning out, brain fog, or low mood. Withdrawal is not us failing. It's actually the brain is trying to reset itself. It's going bounce, trying to find a way through. So what helps? Compassion over control. When you try to punish yourself, how does that go? Mine doesn't go that great. I have a PDA neurotype, so with my autism, I have this nervous system disability that when I'm like getting upset with myself or I feel like I have a demand upon me, then it causes this really big reaction. That also includes if it's something that I'm looking forward to, but it feels like a demand. There's nobody who wants that less than me, okay? But it's the reality. So instead of screen addiction, we can say nervous system dependence, or Angela, that's too long, and I'm not a scientist. We can say sticky, okay? When brains crave input, or they're overstimulated, it needs recovery, needs care. So if we meet dysregulation with shame, we actually by accidentally reinforce it. Did you know, like the brain is wiring and firing and growing literally all the time. And the more you do something, the more you need to do it. So if I react, my brain says that's the way I need to react again next time. But compassion helps the nervous system calm, whereas punishment makes panic. And this is where a lot of compassion to maybe even our parents in the way that they struggled and all their strengths can really support our own compassion. Our parents did the best they could as the dumpster fires that they were. And we are magnificent and kind and intelligent, but also dumpster fires, because that's everybody, right? So for parents and families, every age shows screens stress differently. So preschoolers, tantrums over screen time, it's usually sensory overload. Okay. Or sensory withdrawal. Like I was getting all of the sensory and now I have none because you took it away. School age struggles to switch tasks. It's a dopamine crash. Teens, late night scrolling. They're looking for emotional regulation. Um, when we notice that there's some dysregulation, that's an invitation for connection. And we're going to have more success for us, for doing that for us, for our relationship, and for that child. Okay, so this is raw to break it down for us, okay? So reflect. So I can pause and notice what's happening within myself and the youth. What emotions, triggers, or sensory needs are at play? What is happening? Oh, Angela, of course, my child that I made genetically is also having the same stickiness as me. Whoopsie daisy. Hmm. So that actually helps me build self-awareness on my values, stress responses, and relational needs because I am responsible for 100% of the way that I respond and the way that I am. And that is kind of gross. Um, because, I'm super imperfect and that's owning a lot of icky humanness. But also, what if it was safe that we all did that? Because actually, the more self-aware I am, the more I own my own behavior, the better my behavior is. What? The happier I am. What? Happier? Because as soon as I'm saying, like, it's that person's fault, I'm actually shifting my energy there instead of keeping it here. Okay. So, what am I seeking when I'm reaching for my screen? Because I got to be honest, the more I reach for it, the more my kids reach for it. Whoops. But if I have it away and I've set good rules for me, the ripple effects generally are quite good. Also, I hide them. What? But I have all this craft. I did gingerbread man. It's good. We're gonna eat a whole bunch of sugar instead. Um, what is my brain craving? Stimulation, control, belonging, rest. I have specific times of day where I tend to use really not great ways. So the doom scrolling in the night when I'm tired. And then I go, oh, guys, I can tell I'm tired because look what mom is doing. Oh, I need to put on grayscale. So I stop and then I put it away. And I'll say, I can't, I really, my brain is not online and it's really, really showing me that I need to rest. So let's wrap up and go to bed early, everybody. Right? Align is becoming a good fit by moving from individual perspectives to shared understanding and co-regulation. I know that's long. But essentially, I need to calm my storm so that my child's nervous system can rest in mine. Because children haven't learned to regulate. They actually can't learn to regulate until I show them on repeat hundreds of times. I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it. There's no darkness too dark. Also, I still have to follow through on the thing that I asked you to do. Ugh, gross. Clean up the kitchen. So, authenticity, attunement, and the environment. So, specific things for myself, I can realign with myself by just taking one breath. My favorite breath is two in, one out. And that's like reset. Now, if I'm beyond rumbling stressed and I'm into full flood, well, that's not it, friends. I'm gonna need timeout. But when I just start to have a little, ooh, that stings, that's okay. So even one breath before I go and grab my phone, having a drink of water before I grab my phone. I'm teaching myself that I can do a variety of things to soothe me. And that's a great, gentle way to start and model for our kids. The grayscale mode at set times is something that's really helpful. Some of the research suggests that 50% of our use will go down. So it'll go down 50% immediately being grayscale. I know, but also it's really gross to look at. Ew, gray. Waiting 15 to 30 seconds before checking your phone in the morning or minutes. Sorry. See what I did there? Ugh, seconds. 15 seconds is so long. Um, so some things I do for myself in the morning so that I'm not immediately scrolling is I'll get up and I'll put on my favorite song. So I'm still touching my phone, but it's for music. I get my latte ready. I go look outside to see the little bunnies in the back. And I have like specific things. I go check on the kids, and then I'm like, check, 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 check. Oh, look at me. Good job, me. And then staying off of like things like Instagram or Facebook that I'm gonna be sticky to scroll. Checking my email, I don't feel really that sticky about it. Is there stuff in there? Yeah, there's definitely stuff in there. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. Great. So focus mode during meals or creative work. Add dopamine diversity, like mix in music, movement, laughter, and nature. I just think about like, can I make a healthier decision about my screen use right now? Can we as a family? If we're really feeling restless. Okay, can we all sit down and make some snacks and we'll watch a movie together? Right? To me, that's the togetherness time. We're choosing, we're problem solving, we're talking, we're enjoying. That's really good quality technology use, right? Even like making something creative together on the computer. That's really good quality, right? Family gaming time does count. Okay, congrats. Restore of the RAR is offer way forward without shame, punishment, or force. That's really hard because when we were growing up, like I would say shame and punishment and force were all like that's how they parented. That was how they parented. Um, and like I said, we're trying to unlearn how we were parented for the most part and relearn stuff that we just figuring out as we go. So this idea of collaboration and like talking to our children to make something work together, having their input and getting their like psychological buy-in or whatever. It's very successful. If your boss tells you what to do, or you like, this is great. Or they say, what do you think is going to work the best of these options? And then you choose one, you want to do it, right? So repair means repairing together. Generally, brains don't do great with demands. We do great with invitations. We want to do things that we're invited to do, generally. So here's some things. So if we're needing something fast, music, dancing, stretching, laughter, like quick, 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 quick. Okay. If we're needing to kind of slow down, journaling, painting, gardening, and cooking, um, short sensory resets, hydration, step into sunlight. I just like even just to go and crack the window open a bit and get some fresh air. Okay. Take a warm shower or a hot bath, any kind of like kitchen dance party, right? You pick a song, I pick a song. The goal in my family is not to like, we're not having screens. It's to integrate screens as a tool for joy and laughter and connection. And I need my kids to be able to regulate their own screen use, even at 11, 14, and 17, because I'm not going to be around every single second of every day. And if they're being sneaky and they're taking it and they're hiding it in their room and whatever, which my kids have done, I can't control what they're going to be having access to. Not really, right? Because my kids know how to download stuff. Shoot. So here's super fun activity time. Ask yourself or your child, what are three things I love doing on my screen? Well, I love chatting with my friends. I'm a big fan of my friends. My family? Ugh, who has 500 cousins? Hey, games, videos. My daughter was like, I love watching like shorts. Video shorts are my favorite thing. She's just, oh my gosh, like she'd watch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. There are some apps that I've had to delete off of the phones. Um, and there are safeguards in place where most things can't be downloaded, especially on certain devices. And I told her the stats. Like there's significant research that shows that watching short videos, it actually reduces your attention span semi-permanently. Because they're just so sticky. So your brain is speeding up faster and faster and faster looking for dopamine. So then ask, what do these things do for my brain? Fun, connection, creativity, relaxation, distraction. Because I can't look at the news anymore. Okay. Find one off screen, or find one match off screen. So what's one thing I could do that gives me the same feeling without the screen? So drawing instead of watching art videos, calling a friend instead of texting. Even having a basket of fidgets beside the TV so that they can pick up something and hold something in their hands to do while they're watching something else. So instead of two screens, you only have one screen. See what I did there? How do we support kids and teens to all put up their thumbs at the same time? So preschoolers, predictability, co-watch. So if it's always the same time every day, I'll be honest, like I need that too. I'm not even a preschooler. That's new information for you. But I need to know that when the kids go to bed, I can choose whatever I want to watch and also do our work at the couch. Because it's really fun. Co-watch, like let's watch things together. All my kids like that. Okay. And soft transitions. So like, gently transitioning to something else. For school age, sensory bridging. So essentially like making a bridge with all kinds of sensory things. So we really have enjoyed like taking movement into like if we're watching something, we're acting it out. Um, we might do sensory things while we're watching TV. Because then the brain is going, look at how you're managing yourself with this sensory toy, even though also we're enjoying the show. Also, then they stop touching the remote 100 times. You're welcome. Collaborative planning. Let's figure this out together. What is reasonable? What's a good amount of time? When are you watching your show? Teens, reflective conversations. Hey, what's feeling hard right now? I just need it. I just need it. Okay. I've learned these things about technology use, and like we're still figuring out like how good and how not good it is for us. And so I'd like to share this stuff with you. Is that okay? Um, I don't want to like bark at you because you're old enough to make your own decisions, and I really have no control over what you do anyways. So language to try. Is your brain feeling sticky? How sticky is your brain on a scale from 0 to 5? 5? Is it 5? Mine's 5 today. Okay. And sometimes it's a 2. Cool. Okay. Your brain is still catching up. Like, it's growing, it's wiring and firing at this incredible, incredible light speed. And so I wanted to wire and fire for a variety of things, not just this tool, right? It's okay that stopping feels hard. Just because something's hard doesn't mean it's dangerous. Learning that we can stop, even though it's uncomfortable, is actually like a great skill to have. So what do we do with that feeling? Where do you feel that feeling? What's that like for you? I'm listening, I'm hearing you. Because don't we all want to have validation? The answer is yes. So, what does my brain love about screens and how can I honor that need? How do I make a variety of things for me to do? Can I make a visual? Can I put it up somewhere to gently remind me that there's other things to do? Ironically, I'll probably use Canva and then use my computer to make that visual. Same thing with a schedule. If I don't know when I can have it, my brain has 2 times. It's either now or not now. And if it's not now, that means it might be never, and panic ensues. So, how do I honor that need of predictability, of safety, of I have control over something in this life that feels like there is no control? I can frame it like a tool. If you'd like some more resources and information, there's lots of really amazing stuff on self-regulation. I'm also going to be emailing out some really effective, really good visuals and documents to everybody who registered. I can also put it when this is going to be up on YouTube, I'll put it in the comments as well. Um, the session is offered freely, so cost is never a barrier. I do plan on having a variety of free events that have been requested by community because I love you and I know it's really, really tricky in the world right now, and we're all doing our very best with what we know. If you'd like to support future community events, donations are gratefully accepted. They will be kept for this series. We do have another series coming out right away that is a 12-part series about parenting spicy, spicy kiddos. And they'll have the webinars and templates and worksheets and all kinds of goodies made with and for families and made with and for youth, which is very, very important. Thank you so much for joining me. It is my pleasure and my honor to work alongside you and make the world a better place while we use the tool of screens and try to get our dopamine that we desperately need. Please follow me all the places. There is a cool YouTube channel that my 11-year-old daughter and I are making. LinkedIn, of course, Instagram, and Facebook. How ironic that I'm telling you to go on and use screens. But also, I'd love to connect with you in different ways. I do all kinds of consultations, programming, training, and family support. And I also recently, last year, did the book Embracing Neurodiversity, Supporting Children and Youth to Celebrate Neurodivergence. And it is for educators and parents and therapists to be able to talk about being wired in a spicy way, a sticky way, and how it can be really, really beautiful, especially when we learn to manage some of the hard stuff, because there's definitely definitely hard stuff. Thank you again, and I look forward to connecting to you all kinds of ways.